Hey, all you future Spartans. Wait, where is everybody? Oh, that's okay, let's do this anyway. Welcome to Northside Middle School. We can't wait to see you all in person, and hopefully in the next several minutes, you'll gain a little bit of an understanding of what Northside is all about. By the end of this virtual open house, which will include a tour of the building, we want you to know at least 3 things. Your student will be supported and challenged here at Northside. Northside is a safe and positive learning environment, and we believe school should be fun, so get involved. Now let's get started by meeting some of the faces of the main office and guidance office. When you enter Northside, you'll probably encounter either Mrs. Kelly Bose or Mrs. Jenny Ryan. Both of them sit in the front office. Also in the main office is our principal. She's entering her 14th year, and that's Mrs. Amy Dixon. I'm also located in the main office. I'm Mr. Evan Burton, and I'll be entering my 6th year as assistant principal at Northside. As we work our way back into the guidance office, you'll first encounter Mrs. Beth Burbrink as our guidance secretary. You'll probably speak or interact with Mrs. Burbrink if your student has an appointment outside of school or needs to leave school for any reason. Our 2 guidance counselors are located in the guidance office. It's Mr. Scott Oosley, who will be the 8th grade guidance counselor this next year, and Mrs. Erin Wagner, who will be the 7th grade guidance counselor. Here at Northside, our counselors loop with our students, so your students will have Mrs. Wagner for both of their years here at Northside. Finally, in the guidance office, we have Mr. Tim Lax. He's our Dean of Students. Mr. Lax has a couple of responsibilities here at Northside, and one of those is helping students navigate the middle school waters, both socially and academically. And finally, Mr. Lax is the key driving force behind our yearly 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. It's important to you as 7th graders because he spearheads all of those fundraising efforts, and we start those early so that your students have a chance to negate some of those costs with fundraising over the course of 2 years for that trip to Washington, D.C. Let's talk about some safety items real quick. Here at Northside, after school starts, all of the doors are locked all day during the day. Visitors will want to come in our main entrance off of 27th Street. You'll ring the intercom and either speak to Mrs. Ryan or Mrs. Bose, probably pretty similar to what you're used to with elementary school. And then we will kind of direct you in the right way from that point on. Just as a reminder, when you come to Northside, please make sure to bring a photo ID so that we can verify you are who you say you are. And finally, Northside prides itself on having as many caring adults in the building as possible. One of those would definitely be our school resource officer. That's Officer Eric Kapczynski. Here at Northside, he goes by Officer Cap. Officer Cap's office is located off of our commons. His door is always open. He's accessible to all students and staff throughout the day. This will be his 2nd year here at Northside. During the day, you can find him kind of wandering the halls, interacting with students and staff, but I think Officer Cap would be okay with me saying this. His favorite time of day would be our 3 lunches, where he is during all 3 lunches, seated in the cafeteria sampling anything that Northside has to offer.
One of the reasons that we have open house every year is to help students get used to what it will be like when they move from elementary school to the middle school. And one of the main differences at Northside from the elementary schools is we have 6 teams. So the approximately 850 students are divided up into 6 different teams, and we have 3 teams on the 7th grade level and 3 teams on the 8th grade level. So the 3 teams on the 7th grade level, which is what you would be interested in, are the Navigators, Trailblazers, and Tyros. And they have a bell schedule where you go to classes 9 periods a day. One of those is a 30-minute lunch, and the other classes are either 45 or 50 minutes. So one of the schedules for the Tyros have 6 core classes, and so their schedule is 2 core classes, followed by 2 exploratory classes, another core class, lunch, and then end the day with 3 core classes. So the core classes for the Tyros are social studies, math, science, 2 language arts, and a world language. The Navigators and Trailblazers are on a slightly different schedule. The Navigators and Trailblazers start out with their exploratories first, and then they have 3 core classes, a resource class, lunch, and then 2 more core classes. The reason that we have the teams here is to make this large building divided up into smaller groups. So when you're on a team, let's say you're on the navigator team, all of your lockers and your teachers are on one hall. The science teacher is on a different hall and your exploratory classes are on a different hall, but overall it makes the large building into a much smaller building. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about are our exploratory and elective classes. Band and choir are electives. And so if you choose to have band or choir, then you have that for all year long. The other class that's the exploratory is a wheel. And so you get to explore different subjects for 9 weeks at a time. Art, music, industrial tech, family and consumer science are some of the choices. And every 9 weeks that class changes. If you don't take band or choir, then you have 2 of those all year long.
Welcome to Northside Middle School. Thank you for joining us on a tour. This is Mr. Burton and I'll be your tour guide, giving you some insights as to what Northside is all about. Let's talk about some arrival and departure procedures at Northside Middle School. In the morning, doors open at 7:15 a.m. Bus riders will come in door number 1 off of the 27th Street bus lot. No parent drop-off in this lot. Walkers can also enter door number 1. The parent car line, parents will enter the back drive off of 27th Street and students can enter through door number 13. After students are dropped off, parents can exit that lane, turning either left or right. Please do not drop students off in the faculty lot in the back. Bike racks are located in both the front and the back of the building. As far as departure is concerned, school ends at 3:05 p.m. Parent pickup starts along Maple Street and wraps around 27th Street with cars turning right into the back drive. Students will exit door number 13 to find their car. Bus riders will catch their bus outside of door number 1. Most bus riders will walk to the Columbus North bus lot with Northside staff. Some bus riders will catch their transfer bus to Columbus East and then continue on home for the day. For any additional information with arrivals and departures, please contact the Northside main office. You can contact either Mr. Burton or Mrs. Dixon, and the phone number is 812-376-4403. So now we'll kind of tell you what a typical day here at Northside looks like. The doors for students open at 7:15 in the morning. Students will either head into the cafeteria to have breakfast, or 7th graders head up to Gym 1. 7th graders will be dismissed from the cafeteria or Gym 1 to head to their first period around 7:42, with first period starting at exactly 7:50. Northside is divided up into 3 teams per grade level, 3 7th grade teams and 3 8th grade teams. Each team has their own hallway. Most students' classes will be on that team hallway, including their lockers. Depending on what team your student is on, that dictates a little bit of how their schedule is made up. If your student is a tyro, they'll start out with 2 core classes, 2 related arts classes, another core class, lunch, and end the day with 3 core classes. If your student is a navigator or a trailblazer, they'll start out with 2 related arts classes, 3 core classes, 1 resource, lunch, and finish the day with 2 core classes. 2 of your students' classes will include related arts. Of those related arts, 2 could be electives, one of which being band or choir, which take place all year long, and the others could be exploratories. Examples could include family consumer science, art, ITE, or health and PE. Next, it's time for lunch. Let's move into the Northside cafeteria. The Northside cafeteria will have many options each day, one of which includes a daily salad bar. After we finish lunch, let's continue our tour. As we move up the hallway, we enter the Northside Library. The Northside Library is home to thousands of books. After we move past the library, we enter the 7th grade side of the building. 7th grade side of the building consists of 3 team hallways. The first floor is the Navigator Hall. The second floor is home to the Tyro and Trailblazer teams. Every student's locker at Northside is located in their team hallway. Every 7th grader will have their own locker. Each locker has its own combination. We understand there's some apprehension behind how to open a locker, but don't worry, we'll figure it out together and you'll have it down in no time. Student passing period time is 5 minutes. This gives students plenty of time to get to their locker, exchange items from one class to the other, and get to the next class. Here's an example of a 7th grade math class. Here's an example of 7th grade social studies. Here's an example of 7th grade language arts. Here we are in a 7th grade science classroom. Northside consists of 2 gymnasiums. Here's a look at gym number 1. Thank you for visiting Northside Middle School, where we are 6 teams, 1 school. We can't wait to meet you.